And so when I got to India, I had a bit of a rude awakening because the level of trigger and dysregulation and processing work that I was exposed to in Europe ramped up times 10 being in a group of 20 other people and then meditating for an average of 8 hours a day. It just was enormously challenging in terms of how safe I felt around other people. And there was nothing that was objectively terrible that anyone did or about the experience. It was more that my level of unsafety that legitimately exists in my body, my mind, my ego around being able to trust love because of the pain of my childhood was just, I was confronted with it so enormously. And I was actually shown how fragile I actually am, how insecure I am, how scared I am of rejection, how unsafe I feel being able to trust other people. And that was really, for me, one of the biggest parts of the whole experience. The way that spirit was weaving a deeper connection with itself, with myself, was through reflecting my biggest karma in a way, or my biggest trauma in this life, which is feeling safe around other people. And I felt so alone in that time in India. So damn alone. I was pretty much almost in an ongoing panic attack for the first 6 weeks. So for the first half of the experience. And I never really came back to feeling really stabilized in myself the other 6 weeks. But comparatively to the first, it was a lot. I was starting to get glimpses of what it feels like to be in my, I guess, integrated self, normal self, the self that existed before I even went to Europe or even went to America. So that was a huge theme for me. Now, the experience was almost like being on a mild plant medicine ceremony, but for 12 weeks solid the entire time. The average wake up time and bed time was probably 4 a.m. and 11 p.m., I'd say. 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. And we were doing something, either meditating, studying, in a lecture, eating, the entire time. There was a day that was a break day for the teacher every Saturday where we didn't have lectures, but there was so much study required that it wasn't really a break. And so it was ridiculously intense, the experience, super intense. And because I walked into there asking for a unique experience and wanting to know what would it be like to go that deep. And I want the opportunity to get the value of spending 3 months deeply exploring myself. Well, I got what I asked for. And the way that that was needed was, from an internal growth perspective, mainly about connection with other people. And there were so many magic moments on the trip, so much wisdom, so many learnings. I think there was probably 5 hours of lectures a day for 12 weeks straight on deep spiritual wisdom. There was a ton of different amazing spiritually immersive experiences that were deep in the Indian culture, that we got a real VIP experience of meeting and being around a avatar, which essentially means someone that is an incarnation of a god, in this case, a goddess. The ashram that we're staying at was at a temple that had this enlightened being that ran it. And this person is literally the closest thing that you'd come to pretty much to a god in human form. It was that was wild, and that was not really part of the brochure, as well as doing all these devotional ceremonies that are embedded within the Indian culture that are very, very foreign to the way that I was brought up. And most people would experience spirituality or religion in the West. So an example is an Abhishekam, where there'll be a statue and a series of different symbolic liquids are poured over the statue to cleanse the statue, to cleanse the people watching it. There are different mantra that's happening, different ways that fire is used, smells are used, scripture is used, chanting is used. It was really, really unique and such a different cultural experience, but just gave a beautiful transmission of what devotion looks like, but very, very uncomfortable initially for me. And it was a very, very eye-opening experience. And I've received so much from doing that daily for that 12-week period. And I've been doing my own rituals and stuff since then, and practices that take on board the wisdom that I got from those transmissions. So there was lots of beauty, magic moments. It was an incredible experience. But the macro theme for me was it was enormously challenging. It was so hard. And I just could not wait to get back and see my partner, to see Shana. I could not wait to get back, to see my family, to speak to my sister, to see my dad, to chat to my friends. When I was over there, I just realized how important my beautiful people in my life are. That was a really big gift that I got from the experience.